Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and originally I was covering this last night on one of my walk and talks. If you haven't checked those out, I try to do them every day, either walking the dog, going to the park with my nieces, or just kind of catching a little sunshine or a late night cool down, if you will. And I got cut off. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm here today. I'm live streaming, obviously, but I was just getting into the bromance between Trump and Tucker Carlson. And I was talking about how Tucker Carlson has now become the most honest voice in mainstream media. Had you told me that 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. I would have laughed right in your face. I would have said, are you out of your mind? Now, on the flip side to that, I talk about 10 years ago and how Keith Olbermann was the best voice, the most honest voice in mainstream media. However, Keith Olbermann has gone over the top insane in his coverage of Trump, this administration, even Barack Obama. It was bad. It was bad. He kind of flipped all the way around. So all of this is kind of with a grain of salt. Now, there were reports out there that Tucker Carlson had actually advised the president not to strike Iran militarily over the downed drone. Now, Tucker also followed the president to North Korea, where I also gave him and his administration credit for having talks. I think talks are a lot better than military action with Kim Jong-un. So these are positive things. So a couple of days ago, they do a sit-down interview. Now, I'm going to take Tucker and the president to task here because some of the things that are being said are 100% spot on, and other things that are being said are either a lie, unverified, or a large stretch of the truth. And Tucker did not press the president on some of these issues, which I felt he very much should have done. So as I said, the bromance is extremely real. And what we're going to do is break down what I think are the most important parts of these clips.
You came very close to sending the U.S. military to strike Iran. You pulled back at the last moment. You were criticized by neocons in Washington for doing that. They wanted you to strike Iran. Why do you think they wanted
And
that?
I was given a lot of credit by most people. A lot of people gave me a lot of credit.
The public was on your side, for sure.
A lot of people said that was a great presidential moment, which was, rather shocking to hear.
Let's not get crazy with it.
We shot down an unmanned drone.
Yeah.
So stop. I don't know that anybody said that was a great presidential moment. A lot of us said, that was the right move, dude. We don't want neocons and all these warmongers and the military-industrial complex that you actually spoke about in regards to Syria just a couple of weeks ago on this channel. No, we don't want that. So, again, Trump kind of inflates himself here. It upsets me, but it was a good move. It was a good move. Now, again, unmanned drone. He's going to be honest about the unmanned drone, too, saying it was on its last legs because the drone was about to be decommissioned. But remember, the media hyped up $180 million drone, $185 million drone, $110 million drone, as if that number is worth innocent lives.
And they claim it was over their territory, which it wasn't, but they would say that. So on top of it, they'll say unmanned and over their territory, and then we go in. Before I sent them out.
So let's stop that. He goes, on top of that, unmanned and in their territory. Let's say it again. That drone was meant to be shot down. If they didn't want it shot down, it wouldn't have been in their airspace and it wouldn't have been low enough for the Iranian military to get it. 60,000 feet that drone publicly flies at. All right? Let's get that out of the way. Now, notice he mentioned the unmanned part. What Tucker did not press him on here, because they wanted it shot down. They baited the Iranians with a manned a manned plane, a manned naval plane with at least 35 real lives on it. And if you don't think that guys like John Bolton or Mike Pompeo or Gina Haspel were rooting for Iran to kill those people and really spark this thing off, that's exactly what they wanted. That's why he said that in passing. Think about it. They'll say unmanned. Yeah, because you put a manned ship, a manned plane in their airspace as well, Mr. Trump. So you would have looked horrible.
They had to give me everything I wanted to know by 7 o'clock. They walked in, they gave me everything, but they didn't tell me how many people would die, how many Iranians. I know a lot of Iranians from New York City, and they're great people. They're all great people. We're all great, right? Iranian or not. I said, how many people are going to die? And they said, at least 150. I said, so let's get it. They shot down an unmanned, not a brand new exactly thing either, the drone. They shot it down.
So there he goes. He admits right there, not exactly a brand new thing. Now, I'm glad he mentioned that, but it wouldn't have mattered to me if it was classified and brand spanking new. Wouldn't have mattered to me if it was a $100 billion vehicle. If it's going to mean the loss of human life over a robot that you wanted shot down. Not you particular Trump, but your little warmongers in office, in your little administration, you bet they wanted it shot down.
And we're going to now kill 150 or many more people.
Or many more.
Once you start doing what we do, what they do, and nobody does it better than us, you don't know how many people are going to die. So I said, I don't like that. I don't like it. And I stopped it before. We didn't send them out. You know, there was a little incorrect reporting. It was like we sent them out and we pulled them, but we didn't do that. No, I didn't. I made the final decision not to do it.
So again, he's very honest. You got to realize that these generals, these warmongers, they probably did lowball him at the last minute with 150 lives. And he said it. As soon as we start killing people, those numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger, because that's what we do as the U.S. military, as the international military industrial complex. They can't get enough smart bombage. Shock and awe? Oh, they loved it. They loved it. And let me tell you again, 81 million citizens over in Iran. It ain't Iraq. It ain't Iraq, folks. So let's make sure that everybody understands that. Let's get back to Trump.
I built up a lot of great capital. And if something should happen, we're in a position to do far worse by not doing it. But hopefully we don't have to do anything. Iran now, since we terminated that horrible deal, which was a truly horrible deal, and, you know, you and I aren't so different in terms of fighting. We want to have peace. We want to build our roads and build our schools and build all the things we want to build.
So again, right here, you know, kind of trying to play the benevolence card. Look, I believe that he wants peace. But at the same time, saying that deal was just horrible, you should have worked within that deal and not just suspended it for the warmongers to have a military escalation in that Gulf region. And that is on you. That is on you and the policies that you chose. Okay? So now that they have more enriched uranium and supposedly advanced weapons systems have been hit by Israel really recently. Oh, did you miss that one? Because, you know, again, allegedly, these latest strikes against Hezbollah in Syria, you know, because it's all interconnected, it's all together, were advanced Iranians' weapon systems. And now, you know, they're playing it up in the Jerusalem Post that an Iranian commander has said the country has secret weapons. So once again, you know, this didn't need to be escalated. I think he's playing the white knight card here, and I don't love it.
But we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And you may even agree on that, because I know where you stand. Show's great. I watch it a lot. But you can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And you can't let certain other countries have nuclear weapons. Too devastating. So they're having a lot of difficulty in their country right now. And hopefully at some point they'll come back and they'll say, we're going to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
2 American servicemen killed in Afghanistan.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Right there, he moves right into Afghanistan. He doesn't challenge anything that Trump says. And later on, Trump is going to say that we've pulled a bunch of people out of Afghanistan. We've pulled a bunch of people out of Syria. I would like to see those numbers. Does anybody have those numbers? If you've got the source material, please, in the comments section after this live stream, give me those articles where we're actually pulling troops out of these regions like he's about to say. Because I want to report the real news. If this is true, good for him. That's what we want. We still need to get out all the way, and he says that's not going to happen later on. But Tucker, again, does not take him to task on the suspicious limpet mines, on the evidence that they showed in the Gulf that was supposedly Iranian Revolutionary Guard, when all it was, at best, was a reconnaissance mission. He didn't bring up the Navy manned plane that they put in Iranian airspace. So there's a lot of stuff that he didn't hold this president to task on in this interview. So but let's continue. Let's see what Afghanistan.
This week, how much longer do you think our troops will stay?
Well, I'll tell you, I've wanted to pull them out, and you know I have pulled a lot out. We were at 16,000. We're down to about 9,000. which a lot of people don't know.
Is that true? Are those numbers true? Can people put that in front of me? If that is true, have we just moved in more Eric Prince PMGs or privatized military groups? Is that a great trade-off? I don't know if that's the case. So again, if somebody can show me any evidence that he's literally went from 16 to 9,000 troops under this administration in the past couple of years in Afghanistan, I'd love to see it. If you guys have it, again, in the comments section.
In Syria, as you know, I've pulled most of them out. We've defeated the caliphate. Now, when you say caliphate and defeat, the caliphate's land, it's an area. We've taken back 100%. But these people, ISIS, they're stone cold crazy. So that doesn't mean somebody's not going to walk into a store and blow up a store.
So let's just stop. And it was also propped up by our intelligence system, by people like John McCain, who were meeting with the top members of this group prior to the group existing. And then you see them in, again, white Chevy trucks with AK-47s. And I'm sure there's no intelligence connections there, Mr. Trump. So yeah, as soon as Russia started getting involved and saying, look, that's enough of this. That's enough. Yeah, it cleared out pretty quick. And the caliphate, that piece of land, was taken back.
Which they do. So I never say defeated them, but they were decimated. And this went on for a long time, and other people didn't do what I did. We did it very effectively. Our military, there's no military like our military in the world. I don't want to have to use it very often, but we took back the caliphate.
Very often. Another thing I don't like, Trump says, I'd like to not have to use our military force against other nations or this nation or its people ever. That doesn't mean we can't display force. That doesn't mean that we can't defend ourselves. That doesn't mean that we can't have a large presence. That doesn't mean we can't be the #1 technological military in the world. But to say very often, geez, that's not very genuine, is it, Trump?
With Afghanistan, it's 19 years, and we should not have been there 19 years. And if we were, it'd be nice to fight to win. But it's just 19 years. They're building hotels. We are. I mean, we had a Holiday Inn that cost numbers that would be 10 times what it should have cost. They built a gas station, pretty famous deal, where it cost like $80 million to build a gas station.
It's a lot for.
So let's stop. Again, he's talking about the corruption that was exposed about the Laundry, Kellogg Brown and Root, and other military-industrial complex companies that were cronies with the neocons during the Bush and Obama administration, because, again, they were just neoliberals. They were the same warmongers, Libya, etc., where they run these contracts for all this money for things that cost not a tenth, not even 100th sometimes of what they are charging. And here they call them out on it. So good for them. I'll give them credit here.
Gas station?
Maybe more. Okay. Yeah. They probably did it for. If they report 80, that means more. And we have the greatest fighters in the world. But when you're 19 years, you're really becoming like a police force. So we have pulled it back. We're actually negotiating with various people. But we want to get out. We want to get out of a lot of areas that we're in. We shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be there. We're the policemen for the whole world. If you look at Russia, Russia doesn't police the world. Russia has, they police Russia. Yeah. You look at China, they don't police. They don't have troops everywhere. What they have is they have people taking out the minerals out of the ground. They don't have troops. We have a case in Afghanistan where we have troops on one mountain, very mountainous country, rough country, beautiful country actually in a lot of ways, but we have troops. And on the other mountain ridge, China's there with big excavating equipment taking out minerals. They don't have people. Now, it's pretty dangerous for them because their people tend to be shot as they're operating the machines. It's not exactly...
So let's stop there. A lot of truth there, right? We are the world's policemen. I want to get out. You want to get out. But is he going to get out? Are those numbers real? I'm not sure. Alice, thank you so much. Happy 4th to you tomorrow. And I will be giving the dog some bones. Although we have multitudes of treats here. We have the Dentex. We have the raw hides. We have these little chicken things. But Alice, I appreciate that super chat. And again, Trump speaks a lot of truth in here, but then notice how he goes right to the minerals. Look at China. They're making money, baby. They're not expending military assets. They're actually making money by taking the resources from Afghanistan. Why aren't we pillaging like this? Oh, that's right. We're too busy protecting the opium fields for the warlords so that we can have a heroin epidemic in our country. Shh. Shh. Let's go back.
The safest place. So, we've reduced the force very substantially in Afghanistan, which I don't talk about very much, and that's okay.
Could you see getting out entirely?
I'll tell you, the problem is, look, I would like to just get out. The problem is, it just seems to be a lab for terrorists. It seems, I call it the Harvard of terrorists.
There we go. I'm going to stop it there because he said this when he talked about the military-industrial complex. He also promulgates 9/11 in there, which is a total lie. They were not trained in Afghanistan. The majority of these people came from Saudi Arabia. They were trained at U.S. military bases here. In many respects, the Defense Language School in Monterey, California, Maxwell Air Force Base, and others. Some of them lived with FBI informants, etc., etc., etc. All right, so when I hear that Afghanistan is the Harvard University of terrorism, that's nonsense. It's bullshit. And you have to call that out. So Trump, if you really like to get us all out, let's start doing it. Let's see some numbers. Let's start pulling troops out of all of these regime change wars and places where nation building. And let's not escalate Iran, and let's ask real questions. Now, again, Tucker Carlson, the most honest man in media, but I don't think he did a great job here questioning the president or challenging the president. Instead, he gave him a platform where he could appear almost like the person who was running in 2016. That is my opinion, folks. If you like these videos, we're doing real videos, not about the left or right paradigm, about reality, okay? Because it's never been about left or right, conservative or liberal. It's always been about right and wrong. So we're doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a day here sometimes. We're doing 30 to 50 videos a week, and I'm doing it with your support. If you check it out, we're 16 days deep into this, so almost halfway, and we actually almost got halfway, so thank you so much. If we can start raising more than $5,000 a month, well, we're going to go on site to some of these locations each month. Remember, the Bohemian Grove kicking off in just a week from today, July 10th to the 28th, where a lot of the elitist and military-industrial complex establishment will be meeting. We got some videos on that on this channel. I'm going to be following that up as well. And remember to make sure that you are subscribed, you've joined the Bromance Brigade, you hit notifications, and I tell people, go to the video section and just star it. Come back, check it out. If you can't join us live, that's fine. We're doing plenty of work out there. In the comments section, let me know what you think, and tip me off to other stories maybe I haven't covered or I need to cover. And guys, I will catch you on the flip side.